Imagine this. You walk into a store planning to buy one thing. 10 minutes later, you leave with 5. Or someone convinces you to do something you never wanted to do. Later, you wonder, why did I agree to that? The truth is, manipulation isn't always obvious. It rarely looks like a villain in a movie. Instead, it often appears as kindness, persuasion, guilt, flattery, or even love. Manipulation is one of the most powerful psychological forces in human behavior, and understanding it could change the way you see people forever. Today, we're exploring the fascinating psychology behind manipulation, the science that explains why it works and how you can recognize it before it controls your decisions. Chapter 1. What is manipulation? Psychologists define manipulation as influencing someone's behavior or emotions for personal gain, often without their full awareness. The key difference between persuasion and manipulation is intent. Persuasion respects your freedom to choose. Manipulation tries to influence your choice while hiding its true purpose. Think of a friend saying, "You can come if you'd like." That's persuasion. Now imagine someone saying, "If you really cared about me, you'd come." That's emotional manipulation. The goal is no longer informing your decision, it's controlling it. Chapter 2. The science of why manipulation works. Human beings like to believe they're rational, but research from behavioral psychology shows that most decisions are driven by emotions first and logic second. Psychologist and Nobel Prize winner explained that humans rely on mental shortcuts called cognitive biases. Manipulators exploit these shortcuts. They understand something important. People don't always think. People often react. When emotions become strong, critical thinking becomes weaker. Chapter 3. The famous compliance experiment. In 1966, psychologists conducted a famous study called the foot in the door technique. Researchers first asked homeowners to place a tiny sticker supporting road safety. Most agreed. A few weeks later, researchers returned and asked them to place a huge, ugly sign in their front yard. Surprisingly, many people agreed. Why? Because once we say yes to something small, we feel pressure to remain consistent. Manipulators often start with tiny requests, then slowly increase them. This is why manipulation often feels gradual rather than sudden. Chapter 4. The most common manipulation tactics. 1. Guilt tripping. After everything I've done for you, the manipulator creates guilt to control behavior. Instead of discussing the issue honestly, they make you feel responsible for their emotions. 2. Gaslighting. This is when someone makes you question your memory or reality. You remember an event clearly. They say, "That never." Over time, the victim begins doubting their own judgment. 3. Love bombing. A person gives excessive attention, compliments, gifts, and affection. It feels amazing, but sometimes it's used to create emotional dependence. Once trust is established, control begins. 4. Fear-based manipulation. Fear is one of the strongest human emotions. People are more likely to comply when they believe something bad might happen if they don't. Many advertisements, scams, and even social influences use fear to motivate action. Chapter 5. A real-life example. Imagine a student named Sarah. She has a friend who constantly says, "You're my only real friend." At first, it sounds sweet, but eventually, the friend becomes upset whenever Sarah spends time with others. Sarah begins canceling plans. She feels guilty whenever she chooses herself. Months later, she realizes her choices are no longer based on what she wants. They're based on avoiding guilt. This is how manipulation often works, but through emotional pressure. Chapter 6. Why intelligent people get manipulated too. One of the biggest myths is that manipulation only affects weak people. Research shows the opposite. Everyone has psychological blind spots. Manipulation works because it targets emotions, not intelligence. Even highly educated people can be influenced when they feel lonely, stressed, fearful, or emotionally attached. The question isn't, could this happen to me? The better question is, when am I most vulnerable to it? Chapter 7. How to Protect Yourself. Psychologists suggest 3 powerful defenses. Pause before responding. Manipulation thrives on immediate reactions. Give yourself time to think. Pay attention to how you feel. Do you feel pressured, guilty, fearful, confused? Strong emotional reactions often signal influence attempts. Set boundaries. Healthy people respect boundaries. Manipulative people often challenge them. The ability to say no is one of the strongest. You can develop. The hidden lesson: manipulation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. A suggestion, a guilt trip, a compliment with a hidden agenda, a fear that pushes you toward a decision. The more you understand human psychology, the harder it becomes for others to control your choices. Remember, awareness is protection. The goal isn't to become suspicious of everyone. The goal is to recognize when your decisions are truly yours. Because freedom isn't just about what you do, it's about knowing who influenced the choice. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this research-based story and want more videos on psychology, human behavior, self-improvement, and the hidden science of everyday life, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Until next time, stay curious, think critically, and never stop learning about the most fascinating subject in the world: the human mind.